that we are loved by one another, by God, by Spirit. We are love itself. And so it's beautiful to sing this kind of music. Thank you, Carter. You've already said who we are, so no need for me to repeat. What we do here is we teach, and it's a practical spirituality so that we can live the life we say is available to us. And we know that it is. But sometimes because we're human beings, we forget. We forget who we really are. So we're here just to remind each other and ourselves of who we are, what's possible, and what we're here to do. And that's simply to live a full and complete life, and our purpose, whatever that purpose is, every one of us has a different purpose. And it calls to us all the time. And sometimes we try to run away from it, and we go, oh, it's not mine, it is yours. That's why I won't leave you alone. And that's what we know. So we're here to encourage that, here to encourage you to live your life. So last week we had Pat talking about you are being called. You are being called. And so she referenced climate change and what's yours to do, what's ours to do as a group. The time is now to realize the power you have. It's really interesting. I love how Spirit works because we actually have, I was at a retreat, and I'll talk about that a bit later, this whole week of me and Barb and Bill. And the last day of the conference, on Sunday morning, we do a radio show. And it's called Ministers Talking Shit. And that's what we do, right? That's what we do. And so some more than others. Some more than others, I agree. And so we were talking about climate change and what's ours to do. And everyone up on the panel had different things that they believe is theirs to do. It doesn't matter. It's not about yours being like mine, because if yours was like mine, it wouldn't work, would it? Because it takes more than one thing to do. Mine is about activity. It's like, what do I do? And there was a woman there at the conference, and I don't know if it was a relative of hers, just someone that she knew, that her business got wiped out. And so she was saying, maybe we can buy some of her inventory and to just help her have sales. Right now, she got a little money coming in. And she does hummingbirds, which we have a friend who just loves hummingbirds. So this is perfect. I'm gonna tell her about it, tell her friends we can just buy out her inventory. But she wrote back and she said she had no way to get it to us because she had no way to get to post office, things like that. And so I said, well, you know what, we'll just pay for it and you just send it to us when you can. Because that's what was mine to do. It wasn't about the hummingbird, right? We'll get that next year. I don't care if we ever get it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is what was mine to do. So what's ours to do? And Pat talked about it. I love this. We've heard this, and it's a great story, about when you were at your house that had all this glass. What was going on? You had a glass? Hailstorm. Yeah, I know it was a hailstorm, but what was it hitting? A glass in your house? Skylight. There was skylight. That's what it was. It was skylight. So hail's coming and just trying to crack the skylight, and she was sick of it. She said, that's enough. So she looked at the skylight, she's looking at the hail, and she goes, stop it right now! And it did. Because that's the power we have. It's not that you said stop it right now, it's that you knew you could stop it right now. She knew the power she had. And here's something that moms know. Dads probably know it too, but moms know more. Because when you're sick and tired of your kids doing cheetah flips all over the living room, you know what I mean? And just won't calm down. You don't even have to say anything. All you got to do is this. They know what that looks like. They know what that means. If I start walking towards you after I've taken my glasses off, it's too late. That's power, okay? So we all have it. And so she was calling us to recognize what our power is and to utilize that. And I encourage that as well. It's a great talk. If you haven't seen it, go look at it. Even if you have seen it, look at it again. It was great. Today I want to talk about walking by faith. Walking by faith. We hear that a lot. I walk by faith and not by sight, right? I walk by just knowing that it's mine to do. 2 Corinthians 5:6-8 says, we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. If we are present in the body, we are absent from the Lord. Well, what it means is, what I'm asking you is to think about, what does it mean for you to walk by faith? What is faith to you? What do you have faith in? What are you putting your faith in? So it's really interesting that we do that. And so we were, again, at the conference, and I'm looking at next year's conference, and I want to do a power talk, and I want to do a workshop. And my workshop is about manifesting your inspired vision, because I believe all of us have a vision for our life. All of us have one. All of us have an inspired vision, meaning it's coming from spirit. But we don't always walk towards that vision. Then the inspired vision comes from the purpose I talked about earlier. We all have a purpose and an inspired vision that we're supposed to be living by. And there's 5 points that I'm going to make. I'm not making it now. I'm just telling you what's going to happen when I go there. There's 5 points. But I'm going to tell you the first one because it's the most important. You have to make a decision. She decided, I'm sick of this hell. Stop it right now. That's it. We're done. I'm sick of you jumping all over my couch. Stop it right now. I'm done. Make a decision. That's the very first thing. The Bible tells us, and all over we know, that it's God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. To give us the kingdom. So why aren't we living like we're children of the kingdom? Because we won't make a decision. We won't decide for something. We kind of do a thing, well, if it's God's will. If it works out. All kinds of crap we put in the middle of that. But really, it's you. It's you deciding for something. So the question then becomes, why won't you decide? Right? If the first thing to do is to decide, and then after that, I'll tell you what some of the things are, but the first thing to do is decide, why won't we just make a decision? Because we don't know how. We don't know how to do the thing we're deciding for. I want to be a coach. I want to be a teacher. I want to have. We don't know how to have it. We don't know what the steps are. So it's just easier not to even decide for it, because now we don't have to worry about how to do it, right? But here, let me let you in on a little secret. This is true, and it seems to be a secret, so let me share it with you. The how isn't your business. Feels like it is. Feels like if you decide for something, you should know how to do it. But think about this now. This is logical. If you knew how to do it, wouldn't you already have it? Huh? If you knew how to do it, wouldn't you already have it? So let go of the how. How is this going to work? What steps do I need to take? Make a decision for something. Leave the how to spirit. That's walking by faith. That is saying yes to something and then letting go of how it's going to happen. And wake up to when God tells you to do something. That's heading you in the direction of the how. You guys, I know I call God George, and I'm talking to George all the time. And as much as I do what this is, and as much as I believe this and know this is how it happens, I still argue with Spirit. And what are you talking about? So I wanted to do something. You guys know this story, but I'm telling it away because it's the latest, and it's a great story. And maybe I didn't share this with you. I don't care. I'm going to share it again if I did or didn't. I don't care. It's a good story. So you all know that I had this PT Cruiser. Yeah, hello. And I loved it. It's a beautiful color. It's seafoam green. That's what they called it. I don't really know what color it was. It's a beautiful color. I got compliments on that car everywhere I went for the color, but not for what it looked like. Because I had it too long. So the paint was faded, A deer had run into it. I didn't run into the deer. The deer ran into me because it thought I was on the freeway. It thought it was a water hole. It put a little face down there trying to drink, and I couldn't get over. So anyway, so it had a big old dent from the deer. It was leaking like a sieve, leaking oil. I had to carry oil with me in the back of my car. All right, so I had a big old thing of oil in my garage, and I had to carry oil with me, pull over, make sure I had enough oil, right? So my garage is just flooded with oil all the time. I always had to clean to my landlord, like, what the hell? So everybody's telling me, PJ, you need to get another car. Get rid of that car. And I was thinking, well, I'd be more than happy for you to pay for it. Where exactly is the money going to come from for me to get a new car? I don't have it. And finally, I just said, all right, fine. it's time for me to get a new car. I will go ahead and get a new car. Or new to me, not new, but new to me. So here's what George said, God. He said, well, you still got it in the garage. You haven't let it go. Well, how do I let it go until the other car gets here? See, that's me arguing, right? What do you mean? Fine. So this is like a Monday. So I called the Can Academy that does work with kids and fixing cars and things like that. I called them and I said, come pick up the car. I'm giving it to you. Please come get it. So, all right, so now I've done that. I've let go of the car. It's leaving my garage. And I thought, so I'll have a ride for a week because they couldn't pick it up till Monday, and I don't know what's going to happen after that. And then Spirit said, you haven't told me what kind of car you want. Oh, that is true. Just any old kind of car ain't going to do it. So I started looking around. As I was driving, I started looking around. And I thought, I love these SUVs, but not a big one. Not a big one. Just I want one that's my size. And I want to be a Lexus because they're beautiful. So I said, that's what I want. I want an SUV and I want a Lexus. Just like on a Wednesday. So I'm having dinner with some friends, and they were out of town, and they came back in town and said, you want to have dinner? I said, yeah. So we're in the middle of having dinner. Another friend calls. I hang up because I don't talk to people while I'm in dinner, right? I'll call them later. And we're talking, and I go home. I forgot the person didn't even call. So I'm at home, and I was doing some laundry, and my friend called again. And he said, listen, I had to buy my wife a new car. She needed a new car. Do you want my Lexus? Sorry? I'm sorry. What did you just say? Eh? Yeah, it's done, it's paid for. All you gotta do is transfer it over and put some insurance on it. When can we do this? When can we get this done? Tomorrow. I'm here all day. Whenever you show up. And that's what I'm driving now. Do you see how it worked? Do you understand? I had to listen to what Spirit had to say, let it go, not know at all how that was going to happen because I had no money for it. Nothing. That's just one of the many stories I can tell you about how I just asked Spirit for something. He said, this is what you're going to do. Didn't mean I don't argue now. Don't hear that. I'm still saying, I'm sorry, where is that coming from? And he said, that's not your business. Do what I'm telling you to do. It's just how Spirit talks to me. Stop that now. Do what I'm telling you. Fine. It happens that way every time. That's how it is. That's how you do it. I'm telling you the steps. I'm asking you to try it. That's what stepping out on faith looks like. You have something, you want something. The how is not your business. The conditions of your life is not your business. You don't have money in the bank, so? Is that where Spirit gets his money from? No. That's not where money comes from. That's where you might store it, but that's not where it comes from, right? So you don't need to look at that. You don't need to look at, well, I don't know how, I don't know what. Again, not your business. What's your business? Make a decision. Make a decision. Boldly go to the throne. That's what it says. Boldly go to the throne, which means just tell Spirit what you want. It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, whatever it may be. Let go. I don't see how it's supposed to happen. Well, how would you? Because if you knew how it happens, you'd already have it. So let go of that thought. It's not yours to know. Your job is simply two things. First, make a decision. Second, stop arguing with Spirit and do what Spirit's telling you every step of the way. Spirit will keep telling you every step of the way. Do this, and won't give you anything else but the first thing he told you. Why would Spirit give you anything else if you haven't done what he first told you to do already? He, she, it, whatever you call Spirit. Not going to give you the second thing to do till you do the first thing, right? So you ask for something, Spirit says, okay, we'll do this. You don't see the connection at all. You don't have to see the connection. When Spirit said, get rid of the car, I'm sorry, what? Seriously? What? Okay. I surrender. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna see what you're gonna do. Now I'm challenging God. It's just dumb. just dumb. Dumb. But that's how it is. Okay. Decide the what. What do you want? There's nothing too big for God. There's nothing too big that God can't overcome from your condition. Whatever your condition is, you may be laying in bed sick. You may not have money in the bank. I don't know what condition you're looking at that says you can't do something. Let go of that. Know that God, this is God's universe. You are a child of God. You are God's. Can you imagine? I don't know there is nothing. I'm a human being. I'm a God, but I'm a human being. There is not one thing, including taking a bullet, that I wouldn't do for my child. What do you think it is that God wouldn't do for you? You're his creation, his greatest creation. It's greatest creation. Why wouldn't God do something for you? Would. Just waiting for you to ask. You know, it's one of the things that we do, and I go back to the human thing. One of the things we do, we've learned, some of us takes longer and some of us have to keep relearning. You can't tell your kids what to do. You have to wait for them to ask. You have to wait for them to ask. Because they're going to get mad. They're going to say, you're all in my business and this and that. God's not going to say that, but God's not going to he's waiting for you. God's waiting for you to say, this is what I want. This is what I want. Waiting for you to make a decision. Could give it to you, but then would you even understand how it happened? You won't. You need to understand how it happens, how it works. So that's it. Just go to the throne, say what I want, and then do what God's telling you to do. Stop arguing. Or you can argue. It's okay, I argue all the time. But in the end, do it. Do it. Convince yourself however you want to do it. That's probably enough story, but I got one more story I want to tell you about. And I've told you this before, but I'm going to tell you again because I like the story. So when I lived in Whitney on the lake, and I'd walk around the lake in the morning, there was a young woman who walked around too, and we would talk every now and again. We crossing each other. She was going one direction, I was going another. And she was telling me about wanting to go to either the island of Scotland. I can't remember one of those countries she wanted to go to because she found out that she had some heritage there, and she wanted to go, maybe run the marathon, go meet some people, some folks. Oh, that's great. And she's trying to raise money for the marathon. I said, great. I'd love to donate to what you're doing. So the next time I see you, because I wasn't by my car, the next time I see you, I'll donate. She said, okay. So I'm walking around the lake, every day, and I didn't see her for a while. I hadn't seen her. So finally, I did see her. And still, it didn't dawn on me. I was actually getting in my car, putting on my shoes, and Spirit said, you don't have to. But if you really want to donate to her, do it now. And I said, oh, okay, sure. So I flagged her, waved her over, and I said, hey, I want to donate. So I got my check out, I wrote her a check, gave it to her. She started crying. She said, I'm not getting any support for this thing that I want to do. My husband's not supporting me. I'm not getting the donations that I want. And I asked Spirit, show me a sign. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Show me a sign. And this check from you is a sign. So here's what I want you to know. Not only do you, when you decide, are you making your life better? When Spirit's telling you something, how else does Spirit get things done other than through us? We are God incarnate on this planet. So when Spirit's speaking to you and asking you and telling you to do something, it's not always just for you. And here's the thing, you can say no. There's other gods on this planet. If you won't do it, God will use somebody else. But this is your opportunity to actually do what God's telling you for the purpose of someone else's purpose. It's not always about you. But when God is speaking, respond. Do what God is telling you, whether it's about you or whether you don't even make the connection at all. I didn't have to necessarily make the connection. I could have just put the money, if I knew her from a church, well, I just could have put it there and it goes where it goes. So you don't always know. I just happen to know that thing. And I happen to know what was going on with my car. Right? You don't always know. But you do know Spirit's telling you something. You do know Spirit's telling you something. And you are always at choice. You're never in trouble for not doing something that Spirit's telling you to do. Spirit will go on to the next person who actually is walking by faith and doing what God's telling you to do. That's what it looks like. Okay? Even if you can't see the connection, even if you can't see the end. When Spirit whispers, and Spirit generally, to me, well, sometimes, Spirit whispers, and then I start arguing, he just starts hitting me on top of the head. Like, come on, girl! How many times I tell you? Well, apparently a number of times. But that's it. That's all I want to do. Psalms 16:11 says, you lead me in the path of light. I experience absolute joy in your presence. You always give me sheer delight. It is a delight to walk with God. It's a delight to walk by faith. It's what we do. Bob Proctor, who's a big New Thought person, he died not too long ago. He was a big mentor of Mary Morrissey, who's a mentor of mine. Faith and fear both demand you believe in something you can't see, right? The fear is coming up. You don't know what's going to happen or not. Faith comes up. Which one will you follow? You get to choose whether you're going to walk in fear or faith. You get to choose. Martin Luther King tells us faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the staircase. Just take the step, even if you can't see the staircase. St. Augustine said, faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of faith is to see what you believe. See what you believe. That's the reward of faith. I believe, I'll believe it when I see it is an error statement. The statement, it's a delusion. I'll see it when I believe it is a demonstration, a manifestation statement. That's the statement you say, okay? I'll see it when I believe it. And so it is. Namaste.